such an amazing, chaotic, wonderful place. India is what I would consider a country with both first, second, and third worlds all living together.
I just believe that this whole trip was, it just belonged to God. He was in control the entire time.
On this trip to India, there was 9 of us. We had a 13-year-old and a 70-year-old, and all the different ages in between.
I went with my grandmother.
A 13 and a 21-year-old, and just watching them minister for the Lord just gave me a whole new respect for youth and what God can do through them.
The most fun was just being with the team, the times that we could just talk to each other.
It's not only cars, trucks, buses, people. There's an occasional cow.
One particular thing that I found very fun and interesting was my very first rickshaw ride in India. So it's kind of like being on a 3-wheeled scooter in the middle of traffic of New York, but on steroids.
Dogs on the streets, goats on the streets, pigs on the streets.
We spent most of our time in the third world. There's a darkness that this nation needs Jesus. Thankfully, this team was able to recognize that right from the get-go. We have 37 children. While we were there, we acquired a little 10-year-old girl. Her had died last year, and then her mother died this year.
When I got to Omi's home for Children and Beyond, I saw the kids and they greeted us, and I just wanted to dive in.
To watch their expressions when the children just want to say hello, and they run up to you and they hug you, and all they want is love. But going over there and seeing children who are smiling and enjoying their life in spite of the fact that they don't have parents, or that their parents, they can't live with their parents if they do.
And one of our projects was to purchase a drum set. So when I told my friends that we were going to bring a drummer, they were excited.
I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would be in India, of all places, playing a 4 or 5 piece drum kit, leading worship.
The kids there at Omi's home touched my heart in ways that I didn't even know existed.
Rani, she also administers our home, she came up to me and she said, "A dream came true. Since I was a child, I wanted to play the drums."
In a worship setting like this, to see the Holy Spirit move and to kind of fan the flame of our worship was wild.
The most impactful day for us might have been going to the leper colony.
I think you need to see what other people live in these third world countries.
There are 57 houses, and none of the houses have water.
Part of Omi's home installed water into their streets, and so they can walk outside now their door and get water.
When you realize that people hardly have hands to carry things, and they don't have feet where they can actually walk a long distance from the well to their house, to be able to step out only a few feet from their front door and get fresh water, it was just overwhelming and amazing. You know, we accomplished A, B, C, D, and E. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do F and G, which were sweaters. Everybody says, "Oh, we can do that." And they rallied together, and we were able to get our kids sweaters.
I probably had a prejudice against Indian people. If I'm honest, God has totally broken that off of me.
I think everybody in their lifetime should go on a mission trip.
I'm looking at the world differently because I've seen so many other people and so many other things that those people do.
It's changed the way I look at my faith. It's changed the way I look at what I'm going to spend my money on.
I see things differently. I see the world differently now. I think about money differently now. I think about missions in a whole different way.
And every time I go, I'm just touched by how God lives in other people's hearts.
I tell you what, you will never be the same.
I think the biggest reason is just to learn more, and mostly to learn more about God.
You're not answering a call to do something grandiose where you're going to change lives, you're going to move mountains. It's going to be your heart that's changed.
What he does with you on a mission trip is like the big picture, what you're supposed to be doing your whole life.
I believe sometimes we go with a different mentality, like we're going to change other people, or we're going to do wonders in their lives. When it turns out, I think if you do it right, the Lord does wonders in your own life.
Because you will be wrecked for Jesus.
So when someone asks you, hey, why don't you come to India? Pray about it, consider it, and answer the call.
And I got to go to Starbucks in India.